Branching narrative is not necessarily non-linear, but a branching narrative film is a film where the user gets to choose at certain points in the film which way the film should go. You may, in a film, get to a junction where you can turn left or right, and the user can choose to turn left or right, and the consequences of choosing left or right may have completely different results. The beauty of interactive film is that it fundamentally changes the relationship between author and viewer. The viewer essentially becomes co-author and star, if you want to take it that way too. We did a very interesting job for Subaru through ADK in Japan. The creative director came to us. We wrote this script called The Big Night for the new Forester, which is a branching narrative film. It's about 10 minutes long. We created a language for the film by which anything read in the film you could click on, and it was as instinctive as that. Underneath all of that, though, it's terribly complex in terms of the way that the narrative branches out. Each choice has its own consequence, and then each combination of choices also have their own consequences. We ended up with a film that's 10 minutes long, well, 9 or 10 minutes long, depending on which choices you play. It's made up of 170 different segments of film, with a total of 46 minutes of film that we actually completed that make up that experience. And it is technically possible to get 98,304 different permutations of the film. And it would technically be possible to play the film for 1.68 years non-stop and never see the exact same film twice. There is a whole subset of people out there who've been writing non-linear narrative for the best part of 30 years, and that's video games writers who are experts in that field. Video games and films have been converging for a very long time, and interactive film is kind of the logical child of that convergence. I mean, it's a fine balance with interactivity as to how much work to ask the viewer to do. There is a tendency, I think, in interactive film that's been done until recently to just throw everything at it, and I think that becomes a very exhausting experience for the user. So we tried to balance it between being able to sit back and enjoy the film and also interact with it. And you can actually choose not to interact with it as well. That's one of the things we were very, very keen on, is that you could just enjoy the film if you wanted, and the film would make choices for you if you didn't make choices. The beauty of doing it in this way is that the viewer actually barely realizes that he's watching a car commercial, because he's actually watching a narrative play out, and that's in many ways, I think, far more effective, because they are taking it in a way where a viewer doesn't feel like he's being slammed over the head with the product.